Welcome, this is Peter with Twinstate Technologies and my cohort here, Evan.
Hello.
And we're here to talk a little bit about the darknet. So what exactly is the darknet? What we've got here is that it's a collection of computers in a private network that are all kind of seamlessly connected with each other that change their connections consistently. So your one connection going out may not be the same if you even browse to that same website. This makes it very tough for law enforcement to track if you're trying to do any illegal activity, or even legal activity if you want to stay anonymous. So first, it's very easy to get there. All you have to do is go to the Tor project and download the browser. It's simply just installing to your computer, double-clicking a link, and letting it connect to the Tor. After double-clicking the browser, you're simply brought to a Google search page, as most people are used to. However, we have the difference of how we're actually connected there. I want to bring you to the sessions box, so if you can actually show us the onion that's clicked, that's blinking right there, you can kind of see our circuit for this website. So what you get an idea is what website we're connected to and the routes that we're taking to get to that point. So as you can see, we're going through France, Denmark, and Germany just to get there. We've already connected and loaded up a couple websites here, because what you have to know is that when you're bouncing through as many computers as what you've seen here, all the different relays, the different countries, you're kind of reliant on all of those different computers' internet connections. So whether they're fast or slow, you're subjected to it. So sometimes these websites will take 1, 2, 3 minutes just to load something very basic. Definitely not what you're used to on the surface web. So what we've loaded here is Torch, which is kind of what we consider the Tor search engine. Here we can search for anything and get relative search results. So Evan searched for passwords, and in here we can see plenty of paid for advertisements kind of related to it, but we can also find related searches regarding passwords. So here, for instance, we have what he's hovering over here, offering my iCloud services. I have EPPB Forensic and Wondershare can get pics, videos, messages, notes, websites. So these are people offering services to get information for you. If we scroll down a little bit more, we have ATM hacks, we have password stealers for sale. So the Zeus mod, which is more than likely the Zeus virus that's been edited. We have SSH brute force script code there that is being available. So this is all available easily and readily on the dark web. So we found a few websites through the Tor search that are somewhat relevant to kind of explain how these illicit ne'er-do-wells go out and try to get into your services or find passwords that have already been cracked, or maybe employ the services of others to have a targeted attack against you. So here we found Hack Partners through the Tor search. And as you scroll down, we can kind of see their spiel here, where they are a group of dedicated and experienced IT people. They have no problems breaking into almost anything. So you can see they have all the web addresses here, or their email addresses that you can email to them with inquiries. You scroll down, and here you go. We have hackers as a service almost here. They can get into your Facebook, your email. Looks like they'll even do your web design. So, this is just to kind of prove how easy it is to go out and just make a quick search and say, I'm looking for hacking services, and for $200 I can get into a company Facebook account and start defacing or defaming them. Here we also have the phone connection eavesdropping, which would allow them to, probably through a VoIP service or another method, be able to kind of tap in. With the eavesdropping, they're able to listen in on different communications, so they're essentially being a man in the middle on your phone line. So if you have confidential information that you may be saying over the phone, such as a CEO giving out sensitive information, maybe talking about another client, or these are things that could be damaging to reputation, monetary. These people could be eavesdropping and recording, and you could be using that to your advantage if you were employing these services.
What is CP framing? I feel like know what CP means?
Child porn.
Yeah.
Child porn framing. So these people usually have stashes of child porn ready to go. They will break into an account, or they will get into your computer of some sort, and they will plant that evidence in there, and that way you can go report to the authorities. And it's a very sticky situation, because then you have to start proving that you were not the one that downloaded the information. You know, possession is 9/10 of the law here, and so when it's on your computer, the framing is it creates a very sticky situation in a lot of ways.
So if I'm going through like a nasty divorce or something, for $500 I could really screw with my...
You could throw a wrench into the mix and probably come out better. If you wanted to get back at a boss for firing you, you know, CP framing. If you have a friend that has screwed you out of some money, you know, or a lot of money in this case, spend the 500, there you go. You know, a lot of times they'll use it for blackmail. They'll, you know, say, hey, look what we caught on your machine, you better pay me back, or else, you know. So this is how easy it is to employ these people. Now, I don't know what the result, you know, the successful result rate is with these type of people, but I'm pretty certain that, just based on my knowledge, how easy it is to get into a lot of these different accounts, between phishing, between just guessing, sometimes just hard cracking, you know, I would not doubt their services at all. So as we see here, this is a black market guns website. So typically these websites operate near ports, near airports, maybe by, you know, coastal cities. A lot of times what will happen is you have an inside man at these ports and trade, you know, and what will happen is these guns will come in pieces, or they'll smuggle them in, or someone will just turn a blind eye to a certain shipment. So you're paying a decent bit for these black market guns. They're usually unregistered. They're, you know, to another country, maybe completely just off the record. I mean, we don't know what has happened to these guns, but I mean, all things considered, this is actually not terribly expensive, and you're getting black market guns. So, hidden financial services. So, another very popular service that you'll find on the dark web is credit cards. You know, these are all stolen credit cards, Western Union transfers, PayPal transfers, maybe even hacked accounts. People will buy these for cheap, order a ton of stuff on these stolen credit cards, have them drop shipped to another location, and the person whose credit card has usually been stolen really is never on the hook for it, and they get reimbursed, but you get your stuff generally. So it's a win for the hacker, not really a big loss for the person who had their credentials stolen, unless it was, you know, a debit card or something like that. Different story. But this is easy services to these people. Sometimes they'll even order drugs with these credit cards, just because then it's in someone else's name, not in theirs. There's a lot of different applicable reasons for using stolen credit cards that we really don't have to go too much into. As you see here, you can see that we're on Silk Road, which you may have heard in the news, which is one of the most popular marketplaces on the dark net. You can see here that they are giving you the active price for Bitcoin and many of the other Bitcoin-like currencies, which, if you don't know what Bitcoin is, it is, in a nutshell, a fairly anonymous form of having money. I say fairly because there are methods to track it in one way or another. However, the wallet will not determine who has it. It will not determine what you're spending it on. All it shows is that it's moving wallet to wallet in a certain amount. So, on this website, you can buy a number of things. Anything from illegal drugs to, as we see here, Dropbox. If you scroll back up, yep. Dropbox database, 68 million records, which include your email and passwords, for $25. So we don't know, you know, how recent these passwords and usernames are, but for $25, someone's probably going to take their bet. We can see an MBA Century with working PayPal, so we can get into an MBA. We can see they have HBO credentials, so you can watch for cheap. Spotify Premium accounts, sex tapes of celebrities. I mean, you can buy just about anything on these marketplaces using a fairly anonymous form of payment. At the bottom here, we can see that they have, what is that, social security numbers and date of birth for USA, so you're probably paying about $5 a person for a full documentation to impersonate someone, to, I don't know, open up credit card accounts, to scam someone. I mean, once you have all their information, it makes it a little easier to maybe even get into the rest of their accounts, because you have their date of birth, you have social security numbers. What we have on this page is the hidden wiki. So this is what most people who go to Tor typically look at first. So the hidden wiki gives you, as a basic user who's never really used the Onion network before, to kind of give you an idea of what is out there. So if we start scrolling down, you can see that, we have our introduction points, which is, this is where you start, this is how you search. Going a little further, you start seeing, again, the basic financial services like what we saw earlier, where you can go buy PayPal accounts, credit card accounts, skimmed cards, that sort of deal. We have your basic commercial services such as guns, fake IDs, looks like diamonds and gold that have probably been stolen. A little further down, you can see domain services, how to get one of your Onion names, how to stay anonymous, and then anonymous email and messaging. So typically these people who are doing services on Tor will have a totally anonymous email service such as Proton Mail, SecMail, that sort of deal. We see that there are even social networks that are based on Tor, so that way you can stay anonymous while still more or less talking to people. And then whistleblowing, which a lot of you know about WikiLeaks, which is where a lot of famous documents have popped up from, such as Edward Snowden, and I think more recently people have been leaking things from the current administration into WikiLeaks. So let's go ahead and pop over. There we go. WikiLeaks submission upload. So this looks like the website you go to upload. You can see here what are your main topics, any URLs, what organizations are there, and what threat to the sources. So they do take into account, for instance, when you're doing a whistleblow, if there is any possible threat to your life or well-being. And there you go.